Hi and welcome. So today's the last episode of my art journal creation. I left you with it covered with my back and front cover, but I haven't done anything with it yet, or with the spine. So that's what I'll be doing today. Is I'll be decorating the front and the back and putting focal image and then doing the spine. So I'm looking through some of my collage pieces. I have lots of jelly print pieces and other papers and books, and just trying to decide what I want to use for my collage on top. I choose an area of the front cover that is not my favorite part of the front cover. So if I have specific parts of the front cover I want to make sure that I try to avoid putting things on top of that area. But here I'm choosing some colors that are already in my papers, and I'm just kind of placing them around until I find something that I like. Not introducing any new colors really. I am introducing black, but I will be adding more black in the form of stamps. So I'll bring the black in other areas. Okay, I guess I've decided here what I like. And now I'm going to start gluing it down with my Tombow glue stick. That's just a piece of crafting paper. That's not anything I made. And that's part of a book, an old book. Maybe even a dictionary. I can't really tell. Yeah, it looks like it's got the words and the definitions. So that is a jelly printed on a deli print. You know, the deli paper that you can buy. I printed that on the jelly plate and then added the stencil of the crosses or plus marks. And then that's another jelly print that I just added a couple number stamps to. Okay, so I like that. I'm gonna just trim to the cover. And now I'm gonna do some stamping. And the stamps I'm using right now are from rubberdance.com. They're a German company. It's got some really nice stamps. I like that they're starting to come out with the clear stamp because of this issue. If my first one wasn't a really good stamp, and so I tried to go over top of it, but I had jogged my paper and did not look good. So I don't like that. So I'm gonna cover that up, and that's the great thing about multimedia. Mixed media, you can just cover something up that you don't like. And I happen to have that same stamp printed on some tissue paper. So I'm just taking that, and I'm gonna take my Tombow glue stick and just glue that on top of that stamp. So actually it adds another dimension to my page. Now I'm going to continue stamping. I add that same shape start adding more of that number stamp that was on the yellow paper. It's one of my favorites. I have it in 2 different sizes, but I use that a lot. And that's also from Rubber Dance. And I don't always re-ink for every time I'm going to stamp, because if you kind of get a shadowed look, sometimes it looks like it's receding in the background, so it's kind of adds some visual interest. And just because this is a number stamp and you normally see numbers horizontally, doesn't mean you have to stamp them that way. This is art and they can go whatever way you want. So I'm not adding collage to the back because the front I want to be evident that it's the front, and so that will be my focal point, but I will add some of the stamps to the back just so that it does play along with the front. I grab a Posca paint pen in gold. It's one of the thin lines, and I'm just adding some dots in gold for a little bit of interest. And then also on the back, trying to keep them to be in the same spirit. And now I'm going to use, I don't know if it's hot pink or bright pink, also a Posca paint pen. It's the bullet nose, or I think. And I'm just drawing some larger circles to kind of bring out more of the pink. And then also onto the back. Now I let that dry a little bit before I come in with my white paint pen, because I'm going on top of the pink, and if I didn't let it dry, it would just muddy my white tip. So I'm just circling around the pink circles and dotting into them. On the back side, I realize I think I need to circle it more than once to give it enough ink. So I'm doing I circle twice on the back, and I'll come back to the front and add a second circle to make it stand out a little more. And now I'm just adding some random white dots. I don't think my white looked very white, so I made sure I cleared it. I'm making a few bigger dots. Kind of gives it a splatter look. And I think I needed a couple more stamps. And now for my focal piece. I thought the background was pretty busy. I like how it looks, but I thought if I added something busy on top, it would get lost in the shuffle. So I found a jelly print that went with the background, and I drew this leaf branch with leaves on it with a white Posca paint pen. I keep a bunch of those in my fodder stash, so I had that all ready and just pulled it out. It's kind of a pinky orange jelly print. I sometimes just do plain ones for this reason, to have ones I can make fodder out of. So I grab a second one. And I'm just adhering those with my Tombow glue stick. I'm just trimming out the excess. And now, because I plan on handling this book a lot and I don't want to leave fingerprints or whatever, I want it to keep it nice and clean looking, I'm going to add some Liquitex matte varnish on top. And everything's got to be dry at this point, or else it'll get all smudged up. But I just add it with my silicone brush, a nice thin layer of Liquitex varnish, matte varnish. And the other thing is, anything that maybe wasn't quite adhered with the glue stick, this will secure it in place. So I do the front, then I do the back. And now I gotta let it dry. And here after looking at it, after it was dry, I thought it needed a little more gold, and I had gone in and added those circles in gold. Where they were the white circles around the pink circles, I changed it to gold. Here I'm looking at some duct tape for the spine, and I like those other two, but they have green in them and blue, which is not in my piece, so I just figure, okay, they won't work. And so I opt for just plain black and white, and trying to decide between those two. I've let my piece dry for a while here, and now I've decided on the owls. And I just get this duct tape on Amazon. And I don't know if it's actually duct tape, but you know what it is. And as soon as I get the owl on, I don't like it. So I rip it off, and with it comes a little bit of the cover paint and paper, which is okay because I'm just going to cover it right back up with the other one, and it is at least as wide, if not wider, than the original one, so it worked out fine. I would have been mighty upset if it hadn't. So there I'm putting on my duct tape, and I'm going to trim it with just a little bit extra. My intention there was to fold it over. Really, I wish I would have just trimmed it all the way, because I do tuck it in there and then I don't like it, and later on I do remove it. And there I'm showing you the little glue that I did get on my pages. But my cover is done. Yay! And I'll have 64 pieces of art I can put in if I use both sides. If I use just one side, I'll have 32. I really can't wait to start using it. I hope you enjoyed this series of this art journal and it inspires you to make one. And I just hope you enjoyed it, and will give me a thumbs up and a subscribe, and have a great day.